Smile. Breathe. And just remember, it's too late to get out of it, so you might as well go on.
Do you ever get the feeling that people are incapable of not caring?
You know, I'm screwed up and average enough that I could write a song that'll live on forever. And then after that, it don't matter. I am the king of gay chickens.
No, seriously, what the fuck?
Honestly, you're in a memory in your subconscious.
Fuck! Seriously?
I don't know what you've been told, little lady, but the rest of us start at 9. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Good morning.
Hey, Benny! Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river!
Is it gonna be like this all the time?
Went to the dentist today.
Oh, today?
Today.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm fresh. Baby.
You've been licking them for a while?
Have been. That's why I go.
So that you can spend the afternoon like,
So it's like you got new teeth.
Yeah.
Dentist was very impressed. Said, I've never seen anything like this before, he said. Unbelievable set, buddy. And then he high-fived me in the chair. Never had that before.
Yeah.
And then he said, can I take some pictures because I want to show the other dentists because they won't believe me when I tell them how good your teeth are.
Yeah.
And I said, sure, whatever you need. Happy to have that out there. Just make sure you credit me and, tell them about the podcast. So, 20 of our new dentist listeners, welcome. Always be on, always be on.
Yep.
Use every opportunity for self-promotion. I said, here's my CV as well. Just hand that out. I don't know.
If you're hiring.
I
don't know if you need my skill set.
But if you want me to, I'll have a go at dentistry.
It doesn't seem too hard. No offense to your profession and your 7 years of university, but
7 years?
It takes 7 years to become a dentist.
I feel like...
Fuck that.
Yeah.
You can, a mouth is not a very large space.
I don't know what they're doing in years 5. Imagine rocking up to year 5 of dentistry. They're like, okay, now's the real... That's when they tell you...
We're getting to the molars, boys.
That's when they tell you about Xenu. Like, each tooth actually has a spirit, and it's ancient. And if you do this wrong, you can unleash them.
There are pressure points in all teeth that if you squeeze them, it does something else in the body.
Yeah. Now you get the forbidden knowledge. You can never use... Do you think dentists are doctors?
Well, they have doctorates.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I've
got a doctorate.
One of my best mates is a dentist, and I do refer to him as Dr. Clark quite often.
Yeah, that's not what I asked.
I wouldn't seek regular medical advice from...
He's not here, though, is he?
From Lachlan.
So this, as we've said before, this really is... It's just you and me. So, are dentists doctors? No. They're not. And it's fine.
It is fine.
That's my message to dentists.
But
I'm sorry to alienate all our new listeners, but you're not doctors, and that's okay. Not everyone has to be a doctor.
Well, I've never actually met a dentist, really, who's been like, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
You meet people who have doctorates in certain things.
Penny.
Who are then, I'm a doctoring. If you just call a dentist, hey, Gary, how you doing? Or sorry, Mr. Holmes.
I'm not...
Would you like to come out for coffee or anything like that? They're not going to... Sorry, it's doctor.
My question is not whether or not a dentist makes you call them doctor, but whether or not on the inside, whether you do or
they
not.
Think
at the end of the day, I am a bloody doctor.
No.
In a way, it's weird that they're not, because every other doctor specialises in one part of
And this is a
the
doctor
body.
who has specialised in a part of the body.
Yeah, but it's too much, isn't it?
Well, their part of the body is a lot more accessible than some other doctors' parts. A lot of other doctors, their speciality might be a knee, but you have to open up a knee in order to get to the workings, whereas a mouth opens for you.
Yeah, they're the doctors what am I going to specialise in? And they just looked at the body from the outside and were like, what can I see that looks sort of expensive? What can I see? What are people most likely to give me money to do that isn't strictly necessary, but is sort of ethically defensible?
Which part of the body can I specialize in that would then make me part of a profession that has a very, very high suicide rate?
Do they?
That's what dentists have.
Oh, okay. Well, now I feel bad.
It's quite sad.
You guys are doctors, and you're the best ones.
You deserve it.
You're the most important ones, and they're not bullshitting you when they say it takes 7 years. It really does. 7 years worth of knowledge. It's not something that could be covered in an intensive summer semester.
That last
it's
year,
7 years.
That last year was just like prep therapy.
They're
just there,
just
like
counseling.
It's just like self-worth classes. Getting that self-esteem like built up real good.
Yeah. Like we gotta beef up the emotional intelligence on these guys because they're facing a lifetime of people telling them they're not really doctors, and no mind can withstand that.
But also,
no mind can withstand the pressure of having 7 years being told you're a doctor and then a lifetime of people making fun of you. It'll collapse like you know what it would collapse like.
I think that they should be given like the respect of being called doctors, specifically because like a lot of other doctors are subjected to some horrific smells and horrific things that a body can do. Teeth can be fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah.
Mouths in general.
Yeah. They're doing the Lord's work.
They are.
They're down there in the trenches.
Yeah. If you lean in too close to a mouth, my God, if you're not wearing a mask with a little bit of like Vicks in there, oof.
Yeah. There's some mouths where I'd look at it and be like, let's just give up. Let's just stop.
He had a good run.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's had a great run.
Yeah. You've run this mouth into the ground. Well done.
Taken some of that ground with you.
But the only way we're going to repair this is if I call a doctor to come and help me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Exceptional Thieves. This is a podcast where Isaac and I review and rewrite movies. I'm Sam.
And I'm Isaac.
And this is the latest episode of our special series. What the fuck's it called? Turns of Frase.
I thought you were about to say the other name.
Yeah.
Turns of Frase.
Where we are watching and reviewing the entire filmography of the one and only Brenton Fraser, the king of film. Mm-hmm. And today, boy, are we reviewing the whole filmography.
Today, we've taken a nice reprieve from the Brenton Fraser filmography.
Well, today we really are following through on our threat to watch and review the entire filmography because we're talking about Son-in-Law. Yet another Pauly Shore vehicle from 1993. Classic 1993 American comedy, Son-in-Law. But first...
Well, can I just ask, had you ever heard of this film before?
Not in a million years.
Neither had I. I did not know it existed.
Prior to this, Pauly Shore is a name that existed in my mind, but gun to my head, I couldn't have told you who it is or what their deal is.
Yep.
Now, I know quite a lot about Pauly Shore.
Almost too much.
I've been going quite far into his backstory and learning a lot. And I have some, I think, pretty elaborate takes on the Pauly Shore situation. And I don't have to get them all out now because we've got another Pauly Shore movie coming up.
I mean, that's a filmography we'll have to get into at some stage.
Which is the end of and this movie is kind of one of his last big hits before he started to fall off, in his own words.
His last big hit. So how many movies did he do?
Not
it's
that
gotta be
many.
Like 7, right?
I think it's something like 7 is what you would say. Well, I mean, on paper he's done loads and loads. Oh no, there's lots of himselves. Lots of himselves.
That doesn't count.
See, it was this. Okay, we're going to talk about Pauly Shore because if you get me started, I'm gonna just go and go.
Did you like this movie? Are we at that point yet?
No.
Okay, we're just going to talk about Pauly Shore for a bit.
No.
Okay.
Have you seen any good movies lately?
Nice. You start. I'm thinking.
Okay. Yes, I bloody well have.
What have you seen?
I've seen Extraction Tooth.
Oh, fuck yes.
The second Extraction.
So good.
If there were a dentist-based action series, Extraction would be a great name for it.
A fantastic name.
And a great cover story for Rick Extraction's
Rick
Extraction, the character, or whatever it is.
Rick Extraction.
Did you like that?
I loved Extraction.
Now,
too.
what is his name?
His name is
Tyler
Rake.
What? Yet another one of the many great Australian rakes in fiction.
God, yeah. Of like 2.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, it's great.
Fantastic.
It's just
Could
over
watch
the
it
top.
again right now.
It's so big
Yep.
and good.
The only thing I didn't like, and this is just a personal preference, is I kind of liked in the first one the whole movie is the extraction. Whereas in this, arguably the first sort of act is the extraction, and then a bunch of other problems happen. So it's still kind of the...
Yeah, the fact that the
Extraction,
the ending is sort of like in retaliation to other things that took place during the extraction is successful.
People are saying...
And then they get to a safe house.
Yes, people going, oh no, we got extracted, and then they go after him.
Yeah.
And they kind of put the finale at the start. It's a bold move, but I like it.
Yeah, well, the ending, like the right bit of the end is like quite...
Muted in comparison. And it's fine, but yes, please make 5 of these.
Oh, I'll keep watching.
I don't care. I love that he just is Australian.
Yeah.
Keeps saying mate the whole time. Works great for him. Still not okay with fucking Ben Mendelsohn calling people mate as a Skrull. Have you seen Secret Invasion?
I started to watch it but fell asleep on the first episode because I was hella tired. So
Still
I have
bad
not yet
sign.
watched it. I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, just having someone in the Marvel universe, having an alien have an Australian accent, uphill battle already for that to not be weird. But then he keeps saying mate. For a Skrull to be living in America as an alien, but be culturally Australian in his way of speaking, what's happened?
Well, I think it's because the Skrulls take the memories and whatever of the person that they're impersonating. So you get to be that person for a time.
True, but I think if I were to I'm actually you, I'm pretty sure in Miss Marvel the original guy is American.
Yeah, I don't think he has an Australian
It's an
accent
American
in that
Ben
movie,
Mendelsohn, but when it's Skrull Ben Mendelsohn is just chilling out being a Skrull, he becomes Australian for some reason.
Oh, that is true, yeah.
And I'm pro Australians in the MCU, please, but one, I just every time he says mate, I mean I love having someone call people mate on TV.
Me too. It humanizes you.
Yeah, but in this case, it doesn't humanize him because it makes his alienness more salient because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe like the Australian accent is actually the Skrull accent. Maybe in the MCU world, in Earth 1999 or whatever the MCU is, the Australian accent is actually...
Skrulls are Australian.
Skrulls, we're all... Because Australia doesn't exist.
Well, then they need to follow through on that.
Because the world is flat and Australia is all actors. We're all actually Skrulls.
True. We are, aren't we?
Mate.
Look, mate. You're getting extracted. Don't even worry about it, mate.
Extracted?
I'm gonna fucking extract you.
I don't think I've watched a lot of things, but a lot of them are like old movies or things I've seen before.
I watched a new series of Black Mirror.
Nice. Good times.
It's okay. It's a little bit mid. A bunch of them, they're just not very Black Mirror-y.
Oh.
They're interesting stories, but, Black Mirror is, future technology. Ooh, what if this happens?
It's supposed to be.
And I think the creators are like, oh, we can't, we don't want it to be just that. I think, well, then make a different show. If you have lots of great creative ideas for an anthology TV series, make a different anthology TV series, but don't call it Black Mirror if it's just like a story about demons that aren't analogous for anything.
Is there literally a demon episode?
Yeah, it's a demon episode.
That's quite strange.
And it's funny and good, but the whole time I just think, well, this isn't Black Mirror though. A couple of them are very Black Mirror, and it's great. Mm-hmm. The one with Josh Hartnett. Great to have
that he's just doing stuff.
Great to have Josh back on our screens. Yeah, it's Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul.
That's kind of cool.
That is cool.
I do like that Black Mirror just goes through people. Like, have this person in this episode. Bam, this person, this one.
Yeah, it's like
as an anthology show, that's really cool. Because things like...
It's like the $20 of TV shows.
The American Horror Story shows, which I never really watched or got into at all. The same cast every season, doing different stories. I mean, that's a cool idea.
It gets a bit much at a certain point.
Yeah, you can get sick of it. If there's one actor that you just don't like, on in the first one, you're like, oh god, what if this person's the lead of the next season?
Yeah, well, I hope you like Carla Gugino, because we're doing 10 seasons of her being different, scary mums.
Yep.
Speaking of, big Carla Gugino movie today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've just been rewatching other old movies. Rewatched Total Recall.
The first one?
Watched both.
Oh, nice.
And you can see why the remake did not do anything.
I enjoy the remake because it's a good modern action movie and it's fun.
Yeah.
But the first, like the original, you can see why it made like it's a classic.
It's
so lame. It is,
but from this vantage point of history, I think it's just fine and kooky, and I got with the original Total Recall just the way it's swapping back and forth about what's real, and you are genuinely always wondering. In the remake, I didn't really get that. The whole time people be like, this isn't real, Colin Farrell, and Colin Farrell's like, nah, it probably is, and just shoot everyone and keep going. And so you're kind of like a little bit confident the whole time that it's probably fine. In the Schwarzenegger one, I did keep thinking, oh, maybe this is, who knows what actually is going on. But yeah, the remake, you lose the whole Jim Henson quality of the first one, of gross puppets and
my least favorite part of the first one. I don't like
people's eyes exploding out of their heads like
Blade Runner
puppets.
exists pre this, and Blade Runner's universe just feels so lived in, feels so futuristic, so awesome.
It's much more mature.
Yeah. And then you have this, and there's just some fucking ugly cab dude turn around, and the cars are all disgustingly weird. Like, that's not...
Yeah, it's
there's
gross.
No possible way that your future could have looked like that.
Isaac, we should definitely not discount the idea that the future might be gross and weird.
Oh, the future will be gross and weird, but at least it'll, feel real. It won't feel like we're watching an episode of The Muppets with no Muppets in it.
But then it's now,
It's no longer the future.
When the Puppets is now, when the Muppets time is upon us, it'll feel real, because you're like, look, there's a bunch of Muppets right there. He's driving my cab.
Oh my god, what is that?
Oh my god, the president's a Muppet. What an improvement.
Just elect a new design for the Muppet, and the same person just voices it every 3 years.
Excellent idea.
They just change the face. That's a Black Mirror episode.
What? That is a Black Mirror. That's all you need. What if the president was a Muppet?
Or what if the president was an android of some kind and they just changed his face?
Yeah, or you vote on how we're going to program the android.
Mm-hmm.
You just vote on what algorithm we're going to run. See, Black Mirror's not hard. Let's do some Black Mirrors. People make so many Black Mirror jokes. It's like, what if you woke up and your mum was batteries? Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's do that one. What if you come home and your wife was making phones for dinner? Yeah, there's one. Just the fact that we're pitching headfirst into an AI dystopia right now, and that doesn't really come up in the new series of Black Mirror. Ball fumbled, I say.
Balls.
Yeah, no, just one.
Oh, okay.
If it's two, then you're fondling.
Or juggling, depending on how far apart they are.
Yeah, depending on age. Now go on.
Age.
Just keep going.
I saw a thing that a group of Inuit school children in northern Alaska developed a new way to write numbers.
Okay.
And it made me it's very cool, because they're just using lines to make new symbols. So instead of the number one.
Okay, well, I don't want to kibosh this straight up. I'm not sure how new that is.
It's just
the
way
Romans might have a thing or two to say about the
that
lines for numbers system.
Numbers one is 1 dash, and then there's a V for 2, and then an N for 3. So there are 3 lines, and everything builds, and then they get to 10, and everything makes sense.
It's not an X, is it?
But I read a thing where Microsoft and other programming companies are utilizing this in code now and putting them in code because it works really well visually, so you can read numbers. And
right,
I think that's just really cool that someone has just created a new way of writing 1 to 10, and then putting a dash over it, and there's your 10 to 20 or whatever it is, and they're just taking that and encoding that into operating systems. I think that's the future.
Yeah, and I bet they have recompensed those children
Oh,
adequately.
definitely, they've paid them.
Yeah, definitely.
With
so
another...
So that's them saved. What are Microsoft doing up there? Leave them alone.
How did they find out?
Get out of there, Microsoft. Focus on building, the less good versions of what everyone else is building. Your strength. Today we're talking about Son-in-Law.
Yes, we are.
Let's just get into it.
All right.
Let's crack on.
Did you like this film?
Yes.
Me too. I'm fucking surprised as shit.
I was surprised as shit.
I was pleasantly surprised by how fun this movie was.
I was leaning back. I was grimacing. I was like, "Here we go." I was watching it the same way you might watch an eclipse, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Like, it's not great, but it's fine.
It is fine.
It's fucking fine, and the Pauly Shore of it all is so muted.
Well, I think
I love this so much more than Encino Man.
I like this more than Encino Man as well.
Like, it sucks that Brendan's in it for 10 seconds,
Yeah.
but...
In case anyone is confused, just to get it out of the way, Brendan Fraser cameos in this as his character from Encino Man, just as a gag for like 2 seconds. Yeah. We'll talk about it more when we get to it. So that's the only reason it's on his filmography, and so we decided we would watch it. But this is a Pauly Shore joint. It's a Steve Rash joint.
Nice.
Director of some of the Bring It On sequels and the Buddy Holly story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's about it.
No Hallmark movies? I think he'd make a good Hallmark movie, I reckon.
You reckon? Well, I mean, it's a pretty severe indictment of a director that couldn't just do a Hallmark movie. Imagine if you do a Hallmark movie and you fuck it up. And the people
I don't think James Cameron could make a Hallmark
people
movie.
who watch Hallmark are like, oh, this is a bad one. This is bad, actually. This is lower than the standard of film I normally like to watch on my Hallmark channel.
Christopher Nolan could not make a Hallmark movie.
That'd be a great challenge.
To make someone make a Hallmark movie.
You know how people do competitions for like the worst opening line for a book?
Yeah.
Or something. Or there's one where they do get programmers to design just the worst interface for like how to put your birth date or something into something. Get world's best directors and be like, make a Hallmark movie, and you can't put your own stamp on it. It has to just be
a Hallmark movie.
Hallmark people need to not be able to tell that you did this.
I would watch that so hard.
Yeah.
That would be so great.
That'd be the best film festival ever.
Everyone just has to guess which person directed which one.
Yeah.
Just like for little subtle things. If somebody looks at a watch too many times, Nolan's done that one.
Yeah, people keep saying they're late, but then they're not late, and no one even knows why. Yeah, so this is another Pauly Shore movie. Well, Carla Gugino is really the principal character in a lot of ways, but Pauly Shore is who the plot revolves around.
Yeah.
And so Pauly Shore, what a guy. So he had his MTV show, Totally Pauly. He was a huge star.
Okay.
He was in his early 20s. He's the talk of the town. He's a performer as well, like a stand-up comedian. And he was selling out shows, doing a tour. It was a whole big deal. So they pulled him from MTV and said, because he was already the Weasel on MTV, and they said, do Encino Man. We'll put just be the Weasel in this. Massive hit. And then this is kind of the next big movie he had. And it's Disney again.
Yeah.
So Disney did Encino Man, and then there was like a big bidding war and conflict between Disney and I think Time Warner to get Pauly Shore for his next movie. Like everyone wanted this guy. And there was a script that the other studio was going to do with Pauly, and he really wasn't sure which one he wanted to do. Jeffrey Katzenberg from Disney bought out the script for that other studio and then shelved it, so he couldn't do that, and they just like forced him to do this movie instead.
My God, I hope it paid off.
Well, this movie was it was a hit of sorts. It's like it's grossed $36 million on an $8 million budget. So it's not a flop. People totally saw it, and people had a good time.
Well, we had a good time.
And we had a good time.
30 years later.
And the next one of his we're doing, In the Army Now, didn't do as well. Ooh. And that's really the start of the decline of his meteoric rise and fall, basically.
We don't have to watch Biodome, right? Brendan didn't cameo in that.
He's not in Biodome, no. So in a lot of ways, Son-in-Law, this is the peak. This is him coming off a hit, doing another hit,
nice.
And then he kind of stumbles a bit after that. And Pauly Shore's
it's an entity.
To this day, a completely unique person.
Are there like, does he do stuff now where he still talks like that?
Yes. So there's a lot of Pauly Shore content available. He still does stand up. He's been on Rogan a couple of times.
Okay.
He went on Rogan in like 2016 or something, and then he just went on again like a few months ago. Like I was looking up Pauly Shore stuff after we did Encino Man, and he had a Rogan episode from like the day before.
Jesus.
Like, holy shit. Yeah. And I was watching some of a documentary about one of his tours that he did in like 2019, I think, called Pauly Shore Stands Alone, and following him around. And it's just fascinating because it's all like, it's small venues, it's little comedy clubs he's going around and doing, but every one of them is just packed with people that just love Pauly Shore.
That's awesome.
Like the impact he made with these relatively few movies in the early 90s endures very strongly to this day by people who most like would have seen it at the time. So it's it's of a generation, people
it's
who
a
are still
nostalgic moment. Yeah.
devoted to Pauly Shore, and he talks the exact same way.
Jesus.
I think part of the tragedy of Pauly Shore is that he has this, and I see him as a very tragic figure in a lot of ways, and he talks about himself in that way as well. Like he's sad, like he's a sad guy these days in a lot of ways for a whole bunch of reasons. But I think he is who he is he's such a distinctive and unique character and persona in his whole way of talking. Like I've never heard anyone talk like that. But it is completely authentic. It's just him. And so really what he needed to do, like the weasel, as he puts it, the weasel shit dried up. Like he couldn't just keep being the weasel. Like people kind of like, you couldn't just keep being that same character. And really then you need to rebrand, reinvent yourself to do something a bit different. But he just doesn't have another gear to go into. He's like, this is just who I am, man. At one point
they used it in the wrong way too early on.
Well, I mean,
they narrowed it down too early on.
He got, but you can't even say he got typecast as a specific thing because that just is him. Like he's just behaving in very much the way he normally behaves, and it's a very sort of juvenile. But there's something really raw and honest about him in the way he presents himself, and there's lots of stuff about it that it can be kind of icky and not nice to be around. But there's something very real about him. He says at one point in that documentary, is like just because Hollywood stopped giving me movies doesn't mean I stopped being Pauly. I'm like, God damn, Pauly Shore.
Man,
you're making me sad.
Like when you're looking at it though, like from our lens, who we did not grow up with Pauly Shore.
No, we were just a bit too late.
Yeah, from that, like looking back and watching that, it feels like a character that he's putting on, like Jim Carrey. It does Jim Carrey in films, but he's just a regular dude. He just does Jim Carrey when he needs to perform.
Well, yeah.
Rowan Atkinson
and Jim Carrey, yet another character that he was playing, as he would now say.
Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, he's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
But that is a character. Rowan Atkinson is
real
just
life, boring as shit.
Yeah, he just drives fast cars for some reason. And that's cool.
Yeah, and steals James Acaster's girlfriend.
But like they're classic characters, and that's what I feel the Pauly Shore-ness comes across as. This is just what he did while he was performing.
Yeah.
But if that's just what you are 24/7, and then that's just like, because that's not acting. Yeah,
it's
just saying lines.
It's coming from a very sort of real place, but he's just a man out of time now. He's someone who
dressed like he lives in the 90s.
He'll have like bandana tied around neck or bandana tied around head.
Okay.
So like still a version of it, still like big, like sort of like colorful hoodie and like massive baseball cap, like real colorful. So it's still he's still sort of dressed like a teenager in a lot of ways, but also just like culturally, you can tell he's out of time. Like I watched one bit of his stand up, and like the audience are loving him because they just love Pauly Shore. Like there's so much warmth towards him, but people are having to overlook so much stuff. Like he's doing jokes, and a lot of it is just real, like it's like a little kid writing jokes about about like seeing
would be really good
about seeing girls' boobs and stuff. There's one bit he just uses the N-word. just uses it. It's not hard R, but he's talking about himself and about how his career didn't go great, and he's saying N-word fell off about himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you know, it's not coming from a place of hate, but you just know, like, you can't do that, Pauly. You can't do this. But he's just not getting a sense. He just doesn't have a sense of that. So you can see why nothing's gonna balloon up for him again. But what I like about him is he's just so openly sad about stuff.
I mean, that's like it's morbid for that to be a thing that we like about a guy.
Well, I like him because you see him in just like a modern celebrity culture. You just don't get a lot of that.
You don't,
and you can see you see him in conversation with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan doesn't like really want to accept the story he's telling him. Like, no, my life used to be great in my early 20s. Everything was really good for me, and I was so happy. And I'm really sad now because I miss those times, and I can't really watch my old films because it makes me sad.
Oh, jeez.
And like, yeah, of course, it's a completely normal thing to feel.
Sad.
Sad, more like. And Joe Rogan is like, but why? Just do what you like now. Just be happy doing what you like now. And he's like, yeah, I like doing stuff now as well, but it was better then.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like when he says I did a spot in a part in a movie and Adam Sandler was there, and I really like Adam Sandler. But it sucks that Adam Sandler is starring in films and I'm not, because I used to star in films. I'm like, that's such a just real thing to say.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, yeah, good for you, man. Just be like, yeah, I used to be really famous and successful, and then I wasn't, and I don't like it, and I wish I still was.
Oh, that's so sad.
And so that's why I have despite his, he's a very flawed guy, as we all are, but there's no malice in him, and
he doesn't feel anger for the fact that he doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah, and he'll say,
misses it.
Yeah, and anything he's saying, it's like a teenager saying it, and they just feel like forgiving him for whatever he says. And I didn't realize this. His mum was Mitzi Shore, who ran the Comedy Store in LA, which is like where there's been a massive comedy club where everyone got started. So his whole youth, he was growing up around all these incredible comedians, like Eddie Murphy. Everybody started the Comedy Store. And it still is a massive venue now. But yeah, I knew who Mitzi Shore was, and I didn't realize that's his fucking mum.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then she died in 2018, and then his dad died in 2019. And like in this documentary, he's on tour, and then he's on the phone back to people like organizing, like moving his mum to a different nursing home. She's got Parkinson's and stuff, and you just see him like dealing with it. And he's like, he talks about how sad it is and how much he hates all that. And then he's just making just like the grossest jokes about his mum and his parents on screen, like a little kid. I'm like, yes, he's a complicated guy.
Oh man.
And I sort of can't look away at this point.
Yeah, but not in a morbid, like horrifying way. It's more of like a way of caring.
Yeah,
like
I care about him.
You can honestly care about him as a person.
And I didn't expect to have this depth of relationship to Pauly Shore. I wanted to be able to just laugh at it and move on.
I did not like it at all. But this movie, it grows on you. This is just a gentle. It's just fine.
Well, I think my hot take on why I think Pauly Shore works better in this than Encino Man for me is I think Encino Man feels kind of jumbled because you've got kind of three protagonists. You've got Link the Caveman, who is more static than he should be. You've got Sean Astin just being Sean Astin. And then you've just got this X factor of the weasel chucked in the side, which, you know, spices it up a bit. But he's such a dominant figure, it's hard when the movie isn't about him. I don't think he works that well as an offsider. The fact that the weasel is centered in this movie, and the fact that he is the weasel is what makes the whole plot happen, means you can sort of commit to it more. Because in Encino Man, the weasel's being the weasel and everyone else is just trying to carry on living normal lives around the weasel. And that's just not how that shit goes. If the weasel is in the room, that's what we're doing. That's what this scene is about. It's about the presence of the weasel.
I enjoy that his presence also infects the other characters of the film.
Yeah.
And I thought that was quite fun.
Yeah, he brings about a cultural revolution in a small Dakota town, as I'm sure he would.
Shall we talk about the story?
Let's talk about the story
Son-in-Law.
Son-in-Law, in which Pauly Shore is a relative nightmare.
He plays a character called Crawl.
Crawl, yeah. And look, we're not the first person to say this. Why? It's a real sign of the times that they didn't just make this a sequel to the Encino Man-iverse. Mm-hmm. Because it's set like his character is about 5 years older than his character in Encino Man.
Yeah.
This should just be Wheezy Nuggs or whatever he is in that movie. Stony.
He gets an actual name in this, though. But
Stony Milk Brain Cells.
Crawl, and we don't get to find out because he has a backstory in this.
Yeah,
he gets a depressing
Fred
backstory.
Is his real name.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I think that's that's also why this movie works so much better. When I saw these sad elements to the Weasel character, I was like, yeah, there's Pauly Shore. There's sadness. You got to have sadness in it. Yeah, in this, his character, the fact that Crawl is vulnerable and lonely. Excellent. That's
can't
great.
have happy times without sad times.
That's all we need. He has dimensionality as a character.
Layers.
He's got layers, like a stoned onion.
So film starts.
Carla Gugino's the valedictorian.
What are the chances? Actually, I'll say something about the opening of the movie. It shows the dude and her boyfriend and the Tracy character in the crowd together in one shot, and the names come up. My first thought is that's boyfriend, but he's definitely banging that other chick. That's my literal first thought as these people come up. I'm like, yep, cool, bam, bam, bam. That's a plot point.
And that's great visual storytelling.
Great visual storytelling. A little too early to give that away, but I don't know if it's supposed to give it away.
Is he banging Tracy though?
Yeah, because when she
has
goes off
dinner
to
with
college
him at the end
and calls back, he's like, Tracy, I'll be there later. And later on, you want to come over to my place tonight? Yeah, I'll be there. Like, there's a lot of hints at him just banging this Tracy chick while...
Yeah, she keeps that to herself when she's the hero of the piece at the end, doesn't she?
Does. Yes, she does.
Yeah.
But...
at the end, she's really trying to distance herself from Travis in a lot of ways. And really leaves out of the story the fact that she viciously betrayed her friend, Becca.
Rebecca is valedictorian going off to college in... LA.
In the city of angels,
in sunny California.
The land of mystical storage facilities where people go to achieve and live out their dreams.
God.
Returning to the Los Angeles-iverse of Brenton Thwaites. He's got to get out of Los Angeles with these movies. God damn it. Yeah, she's going from South Dakota to LA to go to university. And she's doing great. She's valedictorian. She's doing everything her parents want her to do. She's a small town. I don't think South Dakota is Midwest, but that's what you call something if it's not LA or New York, right?
Let's call it Midwest. It's more fun. It's more fun. One of the Dakotas has got to be Midwest.
I really don't think it is.
Actually, I think it is because South Dakota's up top. Up top, well, south of North Dakota. But I'm pretty sure North Dakota is on the top of
It's sort of middle top.
Yeah.
It's part of the Great Plains.
That's the Midwest. Let's call that the Midwest.
Okay.
Let's call it that.
Yeah.
It halves the drive. If it was over on the other side, that's a fucking long drive to California.
Man, that is a long drive to California, looking at it now. Well, I guess they say it's 17 hours, don't they?
Fuck that.
Acknowledged in text. So you can't get them on that. And we meet all the family. Dad's a hard ass. And
he's a farmer.
And he's like, don't be a slut or whatever, basically. And the daughter's like, okay, steady on.
Have I been a slut before, Dad?
Yeah. Well, he's like, well, no, but there's 5 people in this town. So don't get to get any ideas. Don't want LA to go to your head.
Those guys are a lot out there.
Yeah, one of them might be caveman Brenton Fraser. How was he in college?
I don't know. I like that he doesn't have nothing. We'll get there.
They drive to LA. I liked this line. There's just like an overhead shot of the college campus, and there's someone on the loudspeaker. And they say,
if you don't
all
register.
freshmen must register by 6 p.m. If you don't register, you don't exist. That's a good, some good Black Mirror energy coming off this bit.
It's good comedy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. If you don't register, if you get murdered, we won't do anything about it. No one will look into it. So the family drop her off, and there's
a hilarious scene of them trying to carry luggage while there are all of these people in their late teens, early 20s, partying in a college.
Yeah,
and the family are fish out of water.
They're bloody fish on the surface of Mars at this point.
They're fishes in a place where fishes don't usually go.
Yeah, like the
college
bank,
campus.
the bank, or Congress.
Yeah.
Now, and it's a pretty wild college campus. Like,
it's crazy. It's definitely co-ed.
People are just dick out, walking around. You know how college is.
Well, yeah.
And I never stayed on campus.
I've visited people who were living on campus.
And I never had any interest. Like, I'm very glad it's not that much of an enforced norm.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Because it is not my scene at all. It looks awful. Like when she wants to leave, I'm like, yes, definitely that.
They make little quips about it, like, yes. What's it called? Like communal living.
That's
a running joke in the little college scenes. Like, you all got to share the phone.
Yeah,
communal living.
Yeah, well, that's not communal living. That's just the 90s. But
true.
Yeah, I do like that thing of when people say like the reason college is the best part. The reason people remember college as the best part of their lives because it's the one time they lived in a walkable community.
Yeah.
And just everything was walking distance, and that's how humans are meant to live. And you just everyone you care about is within the 500 meters, and then we never get to experience that again. So her brother is there as well. So this is the fantastic character. What's his name?
I wanted to Google what he was in before this or after this.
Patrick Renner playing Zach. So we've got like a 12-year-old wearing a "Please Seduce Me" t-shirt.
I loved that.
No, thank you. Not a big fan of that. So creepy.
Seduce me, please.
Yeah, but the way it's just like a beige t-shirt with that written on it, like in white. Like, what's going on?
Made this t-shirt.
Like, and the dad has nothing to say about this. Apparently,
well, I think
he's still just emphasizing
given up on the son.
Yeah, I think he's seen. I'm never getting this one back.
He's full on just giving up on his
But
child.
my other child is Carla Gugino, so I really feel like she could go somewhere.
Well, she is the valedictorian.
Yeah. Dad's looking for a screwdriver to open the case, and we meet the weasel, and he's like hanging from the roof, and he's like
those fucking
sit up.
Yeah, those ankle braces
straps.
that go onto the.
Although for him it's probably a sex thing. And he's the resident advisor. So this is it's that character who's been at college for 6 years and just lives there and never graduates and has acquired a position of authority over people that is increasingly older than.
Maybe not authority over, but still getting to hang around with these people.
Yeah. Her roommate is gay and her girlfriend comes in and they do that. The way lesbian women are often portrayed, where they will often just make out quite passionately out of nowhere around people who
around
aren't
families
that
from
cool
South
with
Dakota.
it. Yeah, like, well, see ya. You know what it's like when you say goodbye to your partner around people you don't know. And
definitely.
You don't even
open your face and put it upon their face.
You don't even take one step away out of this very small room. Like, no, here's good. let's make out for a while. And everyone responds in the way that you would expect in a fairly juvenile film
Yes.
to girls kissing each other. Like, it's fine that the kid does it because he's a kid, but the fact that the parents are like, oh my God. No TV in South Dakota in those days, I guess. I mean, come on, they're doing lesbian weddings on Friends at this point. So Pauly has a video camera. This is one of the ways in which I feel like the Weasel character is very modern and contemporary. Like that MTV VJ role and the way he was like having them. They were following him to set of Encino Man, and the way Pauly Shore was contentifying his life in a really interesting way. That's very
Well, maybe this
very
is an
modern.
escape from that by filming in the Midwest.
You think he
to
needed
run away from MTV?
He needed
for
a little
bit.
break from the stream.
He wanted to concentrate on the art.
Yeah,
and
true.
Took a break from that by running away to film some serious acting in the heartland of America.
Yeah. When he's filming stuff all the time, and I'm always just like, what is this for? Like you can't post it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
what
it's
do you?
just for his memories.
This is just for you to put in a memory box of videos and no one to ever see. And look, his character is saying some gross misogynistic stuff a lot of the time.
Yes.
But they kind of tone that down. He comes in
It starts out very
pretty
harsh.
hard at the start, no pun intended, when he's like, undiscovered country. And he's just like filming her, you know, without her permission, basically. He's there in underwear and robe.
Yep.
And he's like, you got charisma.
Yeah.
She's got that riz. And I'm like, you're damn right she does. She's Carla Gugino, Weasel.
Valedictorian.
And she's valedictorian. Yeah, one of the best Carla Guginos out there. Like a Barbie. Things escalate. There's a costume party. Crawl is dressed
It's Halloween. She's been there for a couple of months.
Yeah,
it's now
good
Halloween.
point. Great visual storytelling.
Great visual
You
storytelling.
don't need to tell us because people will get that it's Halloween, like I did. And he's Carmen Miranda.
It's a big ass sign hanging out.
I'm not always looking at it, okay? I'm busy researching the details of Pauly Shore's life.
Understandably.
I can't just watch the movie, Isaac. I don't have an hour and a half free to just do one thing in the day. And who's at the costume party? Who knows why they're in costumes? Maybe we'll never know.
Brenton Fraser.
It's Link.
As Link.
And what he does, I find a bit hard
Yep.
to understand. So he meets
Pauly Shore
the
comes
Wheeze,
in, well, dressed as a
Carmen Miranda.
Carmen Miranda.
And Link he's got a frog in his headdress.
Mm-hmm.
He takes it off. He tries to burn it with a lighter, little reference. And then he realizes he can't burn it or something, so he eats it. But like he takes a full bite out of what? So what is that frog?
I think it's a rubber frog.
But how you couldn't take a bite out of a rubber frog?
If you are superpowered Neanderthal Brendan Fraser, maybe you can.
But he's not a Neanderthal. He's the missing link, Isaac, famously. So did they make like a plasticine? Maybe plasticine.
Maybe chocolate or something, yeah.
So Weasel has a plastic frog on his head?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to melt. The amount of heat emanating from someone doing the Weasel performance,
Sure.
you're going to be covered in frog.
Well, I don't know if, like... Yeah, it's just weird. He grabs a frog from somewhere, we'll assume the headdress,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
tries to light it. It doesn't light.
And then he walks
Bites
off.
it and leaves.
So it appears in the intervening 5 or so years in world, Link has made very little progress
I like to...
in his integration
Yeah.
into the world.
In my mind, I'm picturing the character as actual Brendan Fraser, but at a college Halloween party. He's taken something, and then
And
Crawl has
inadvertently-
come into the room, being like, "Oh, a frog," and he dressed up as his character from Encino Man, actual Brendan Fraser,
This is actual Brendan Fraser
attending
on
college.
shrooms in
On shrooms.
costume as himself from a film.
Yeah,
That's a layered text.
yeah. That's what I'm taking from it,
Okay.
and it makes more sense for him to just bite into a plastic frog than he's just losing his fucking marbles right now.
Yeah, I mean, why would Link do that?
Exactly.
Surely it's been 5 years.
At this point, he's bitten many plastic things.
You've been accepted into college.
Yeah, you're at college.
How are you passing woodworking and ancient history if you're still biting frogs on the regular?
It would be cool if Sean Astin's character was also there.
Yeah.
Or they were studying.
Yeah.
Come in and Link is like, "Oi, I'm doing my homework, bro."
Yeah, and he has proto language. I like
Link study.
And what is going on with, because Cruel seems to almost recognize him.
Yeah, there is a moment.
And then he's like, no, it can't be, or something, and he shakes it off. But like, so you're not Stony, because Brendan Fraser looks exactly the same. But it's almost like he has an echo of a memory he doesn't quite have.
It's the multiverse.
Well, that's what I think it is. In the Pauly Shore multiverse, it's like the barrier between two multiverses thinned a little bit, and he's got memories from an alternate self bleeding through. And he feels like he recognizes him, but he doesn't. That's the Stony memory.
There was a fate that didn't happen in this world.
Maybe they had to make him not just be Stony so they could do the Link cameo and it wouldn't just derail the storyline.
Yes, the reason he's not Stony is so they could do a cameo.
So they could do the Brendan Fraser cameo.
I don't think
We figured it out. I'm going to put that on there as trivia.
Rebecca gets home from studying to her dorm room where there is a party going on, is upset about this.
She's not having it. Is it? She's like doing laundry. Isn't she?
I'm pretty
sure
yeah.
She's like coming out of the
laundry room. And then there are just
room.
people in the room.
Because she thought, as one might, sure, there's a party going on, but I don't want to go to the party. I'll just hang out in my room.
Yeah.
No. Your room is part of the party landscape.
You're in the dorms.
Some guy sits on her little wooden horse and breaks it.
Ugh, what?
She's having an absolute shit of a time.
And she decides she's done with college and she's going home.
And this is when I realized I liked the film because of what Cruel does.
Me too.
In this scene, when you suddenly realize what this is going to be like. Because while still being Cruel, he sees what she needs. He sees what the problem is. And he gets her what she needs. He kicks everyone out of her room.
Yeah.
Gets everyone to go.
His room.
Yeah.
And he stops her from using the phone.
He stops using the phone.
Takes her back to his room, kicks everybody out.
Gets everybody out of the room.
And chills everybody. Yeah.
And he says, I completely understand how you feel. And
he validates her feelings. And says...
He empathizes with her feelings.
Yeah.
He shares something about himself to make himself vulnerable by showing a picture of what a little nerd he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And how he...
he embraced the life of college.
Then I grew out the fro and whatever. And then, great line, she says, I don't fit in here. He goes, how do you know you're not even here yet? Great stuff. Great stuff.
It's deep.
And he's like, give me a chance. I'll take you off campus and just see if you can settle in. And he just sort of shows her the town and they have fun together.
Yeah, they go out on what I assume is a day, but it's probably weeks of them becoming good friends.
Yeah, it sort of turns into a montage because she has various different outfits throughout it. She gets some weasel wear. So she gets to try on different clothes and she gets a haircut and they go rollerblading.
At Venice Beach.
Yeah. And this obviously just awakens this whole other side in herself that she didn't really know was there. And she's having a great time and she's... And at no point is having that great college experience.
It doesn't come across that he's forcing her to do all these things. She's just having a good time.
They just become great mates.
Yeah. He opens up new experiences. They're just super good friends.
And I just bought them as mates.
Me too.
So completely.
Yeah.
She does a very good performance, I think, of selling this female character who just clicks with this weird guy.
Yeah, God. Oh, yeah.
The idea of this valedictorian clicking with him. Yeah, well, yeah.
It's fucking Carla Gugino.
It's fucking Carla Gugino, mate. She's going to get it done.
She's going to succeed.
She's going to get it done, mate.
Valedictorian.
She's valedictorian. She can do anything. And like they go to the beach and he's checking out girls, but they're checking out girls together.
Yeah.
Like he gives her the binoculars. And it's little things like they're both checking out the girls. She sees the guy. She's like, wow, look at that guy. And just the way in which he is immediately like, no, he's probably on steroids or something. To me, that just reads as the character is so lacking in artifice that his weaknesses and his insecurities are just like completely on his sleeve. So there's sort of he's not hiding anything. So even though he reacts that way, we're like, oh, why can't you look at the guy? It just reads as more innocent to me, and I understand why she would brush that off with him, and not like it's not like a problem. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just all green flags.
It is. Weirdly.
Yeah, I know.
This character that 5 minutes ago was filming her and saying virgin territory. It weirdly transforms into a green flag thing. And yeah, the weird mud wrestling scene. And he has to wrestle that giant woman. And the commentator says she's available for weddings. Things in this movie genuinely made me laugh in a way I wasn't expecting at all.
So it gets to Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving.
The boyfriend calls back. I'd completely forgotten he existed, by the way. Travis, yeah. At this point...
at the start of the film, sorry, she says to her dad, I definitely won't be having sex in California, it's fine. And then closes the bedroom door on her dad, and outside the window, boyfriend's totally here. Shoot to the barn. He's trying to get it. He's trying to get some. She's like, oi, back off. I'm not ready yet. And he's like, well, you're going away tomorrow. We got to get some. And she's like, I'll be back in 3 months. Chill the fuck out, mate.
It's not that long.
That sets up the premise. And he's like, okay, I respect your wishes. Again, I immediately knew he was banging someone else at this point in time.
Meanwhile, on the inside, he's saying, I definitely don't respect these wishes of yours.
No, I don't respect women.
I don't care. I'm Chip from Friends.
It is.
It is. And then she realizes Crawl's going to be alone at Thanksgiving. Yeah, because he's just going to be Harry Potter in it at school.
Yeah, I think the plan was for him to go home, but then someone cancelled, and so I'm just going to stay at school. It's okay. She's like, nah, bruv, we best mates.
Yeah,
we're best mates.
Mates don't leave mates hanging over Thanksgiving.
Yep. So she
Come
takes
back
him
to Dakota. What could go wrong?
Yeah, you can now be the fish.
Yeah,
at the bank.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can be the Pauly Shore at the bank.
Now that I, as a fish, am fitting in so well at this bank, it's time for me to take you, the bank teller, to somewhere they would never be.
The
space. Yeah.
The fish world.
The wreck of the Titanic. And so...
Safest place for all of us.
Safest place for a spherical craft. Had to come up at some point. They land. This fucking made me laugh. The little kid has a sign that says
I loved it. I love that so much.
It just says "Go home, Rebecca."
But it has "Welcome home" on the other side, so it clearly made the right sign. But it like
I don't know why that gets me so much. Someone at an airport with a sign saying "Go home."
I really want to do that now. Whenever family visit,
I want to go to the airport and just do that to people I don't. Just get a common name. Just go home, John. at the international airport. Fuck off. No, people think it's xenophobic if you do it international. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So she's told her family that she's bringing a friend home, but not who it was.
And they're like, "Oh no, look at what she's wearing. It's all. Oh, I told her not to change,
not to grow as an individual."
Yeah, parents do hate it when that happens.
When you're not them.
When you change from their favorite version of you, the version of you that was easiest to control. So he rides back home on the back of the truck. And look, Crawl is getting off on the wrong foot from the start, isn't he? It's like, it's all right.
Excited to be on the farm.
I popped your daughter's chest immediately. Well, he's
telling the truth.
He's telling the truth, and he's just saying he helped her with something. So back off, guys. And there's Theo, the farmhand, crushes his hand. He's vibing with the little brother. So obviously him and the little brother are best mates because they're on completely the same wavelength. And I had to write down what he says when he does the override on his
hacking.
computer. Yeah, when he does the hacking.
Jesus, the bullshit.
Your PC got hashed, right? Because your system heap set up the wrong parameter. So I toasted the data directory, tweaked the PRAM, and reglaced your subroutine. I love nonsense hacker stuff. 100%. I bet that is what he did. And and he says he grew up at Caesar. He grew up in a casino, and he didn't have any friends. Yeah. He's just someone who's so weird that he's just learned to enjoy living life by himself. And in that way, he's an inspiration to all of us.
Like,
but does he not deserve love?
Undeservedly deep.
Yeah. Yeah, and like subtle as well.
I'm for it.
It just laces that in there. And he says, you got Playboys? Stop holding out on me, man. Yeah. What month? And the kid says, I'm a subscriber. Great. Great stuff. I mean, the kid's the worst, but I found it funny.
I'm a subscriber.
And they just throw it away. Like he says it as he's walking out of the room.
He just leaves the room.
I like that they don't dwell. It's not like jokes. They they sort of throw them away. I like it. And then boyfriend is back. I'm like, who even is this guy? They make out in the barn. He tries to propose immediately. Nerd. And she just sort of tries to deflect to get out of there. Like, obviously not, because I'm cool now. Yeah. Because I live in LA and I'm cool.
Yeah, well, she's like, I'm afraid of this.
Yeah, and you're wearing one of those football jackets that bullies wear.
Yeah, you're still living in high school.
Can you wear one of those?
We've been out of high school for 3 months.
Can you wear one of those and not be a bully at this point? It's very bully coded.
Can you wear one of those and not work at your father's car dealership in town?
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't gone anywhere, has he?
No.
Hasn't gone anywhere. What is he doing?
It looks like he's working at a pharmacy.
Is he at the community college of South Dakota or something?
Well, I don't think he's
something.
I think he's rich enough not to go to college. He just gets a job at his dad's whatever.
No, you still got to go to college if you're rich. Because your dad just pays to get you into Harvard or something.
Yeah, but you got to come back and work at your dad's whatever.
Maybe he's back for Thanksgiving as well.
Well, he didn't leave home.
Okay, well, I'm trying to come up with solutions here, Isaac.
Yeah, but he didn't leave. He's just working. He's just left. They're farm kids. They're farm people. They don't go to college. They stay on the farm.
Maybe, okay, she's the first one.
Yeah. Well, she's the valedictorian. She's got to leave.
I don't know if I mentioned that, but she's actually...
and then Tracy was supposed to go.
It is funny. It's never mentioned what she's studying. Anything. But it's not. That's not the story. It's not what it's about. Because the significance of her college experience isn't the studying; it's the experience, and that's meant to be the whole point, isn't it?
Of college.
Yeah, it's life experience.
Yeah.
In this case, her life experience was getting tattoos with Pauly Shore. Hell yeah! And like his character, in reading a review of this movie from the time, someone used the word that I haven't heard before, but it's the only one I think that really captures it. They describe him as being ambisexual.
Okay.
There's ambiguity. He's a fluid
There is a lot
figure.
Of vagueness to a lot of what he does.
Yeah, and it's a strength, but again, very unique. Never seen or heard anything like it. You know, in a more basic version of this character, he would just be gay.
Yeah.
But has to pretend to not be and then pretend to be engaged to Carla Gugino. But because they don't want to do that, but he's still very flamboyant, I guess, in a lot of ways, you might describe it as. And the ways in which he aggressively rejects many tropes of masculinity is disarming, really. Like when he gets punched in the face.
And he just crumples to
and
the
he just
ground.
crumples and whines on the ground. Like it's so intense. It's so the opposite of how you're meant to respond to getting punched in the face. But he just leans into that so hard.
It is very cool. And later on when he meets him again, just curls up in a ball. Hey, mate. No.
Yeah. And there's something...
it's so gentle about it.
Yeah, there's something sort of heartwarming about the way he wins everyone over whilst rejecting everything that they expect of just a young man.
Yeah.
In this town. It's interesting that it's taking place at a time in history where they would present the lesbian kiss in the way that they do.
Mm-hmm. But still,
meanwhile,
so
he is doing
him.
Yeah, he's being all of whatever he is. There's no language for it. There's no words. But he's the hero of the story as well. You know.
Yeah, but it's okay because he's a dude.
But what is he?
Well, exactly.
You know.
He's just.
There's just a lot going on.
Yeah, but
it's
the
fascinating.
Fact that it is harmless in so many ways. It's
I think
nice.
that they go a bit hard with him at the start in terms of his sort of
predatory
nature.
I think that's like turned up specifically because we're family out of our element, and we're supposed to believe that this college might be dangerous for her. Therefore, the first thing we meet is him. Yeah, and then when you get to know him, oh wait,
there's a real harmlessness and warmth to him the whole time, and again, like authenticity that you didn't get to really see any of in Encino Man, because he's just the funny guy. He's the funny guy to Sean Astin's straight man, I guess.
Yeah, who really wasn't really the straight man.
He needs to just be the character that give Sean Astin someone to talk to, because Link can't talk, but he's doing so much that it sort of gums up the works of how their dynamic should work. Even though I do still kind of love them as a trio at certain times.
So they're in town. They go to the country club for dinner.
Yeah. Well, after the avoided proposal, she comes straight to him for advice. He gives her good advice. He's like, look, the longer you wait, the worse it's got to be. You've got to be honest with this guy. And he's like, well, if I'm not going to do that, I need some rustic style. I need to get out of this.
They go shopping.
They go shopping.
He dresses exactly the same with a hat.
Turns up to dinner. He looks real fucked up. He's in like shorts.
He's got black shorts under like short denim.
Or is it like a romper maybe? Like a little denim romper? And he's like, I fit in now. Yeah, he's like an alien. It's like an alien trying to fit in.
Old fucktard Travis gets up in front of like 50 people. He's like, guys,
that's a word.
Rebecca and I have totally been courting for like 5 years now.
Yeah,
she's been away for 3 months and may have changed. I'm not sure, but I'm going to force her to say yes by proposing in front of all of you.
As you all know from my updates in our community newsletter, this is where our relationship's at.
So, Rebecca, how about it?
And this is, when Crawl makes arguably a bad choice. But he was in the moment, he didn't know what to do.
Exactly, he's just spitballing.
He thought that's what she wanted, and he says, no, you can't get engaged because we're already engaged, basically.
Take that, motherfucker.
And he has a ring?
Yeah, he just takes off one of his regular
takes off one of his 8
that
rings.
He wears and just gives that. Oh, that's the one you're supposed to wear.
Yeah.
That makes this realistic.
And that's when Travis punches him in the face.
And he crumbles and whines.
Like a little baby. They get home. The parents have crisis talks. I like the mum she says, look, she's rebelling. If we forbid this, she'll just run off. It'll make it worse. And thank you.
Yeah.
Parents never say that in films. Like, yeah, obviously. So they try and and the dad's like, yeah, no, good idea. You distract him. I'll hit him with a shovel.
Hit him with the shovel, yeah. And then the father gets a plan to give him a day of farming.
Yeah.
And see how he goes.
How are you going to provide for my daughter? He's like, well, I'm going to do farming. And then they try to scare Crawl off by showing him that farming is hard.
Yeah.
And I maintain, if they just got him to do actual farming, that would have been bad enough. But instead, they just keep pushing him over.
Yeah,
that's their Theo just keeps finding ways to push him into manure, and he gets run over by a pig. He destroys his own fence. Yeah, he plays a prank on him in the tractor. And makes him drive through a fence that he's going to have to rebuild. And it's just like, ha, gotcha.
Take that.
What are you doing? We've lost the barn, but it was worth it.
But immediately Crawl's like, I will pay for those damages.
Yeah.
I will find a way to do that. That's fine.
He's just a stand-up guy the whole time.
No vengefulness at all in anything he does.
It never occurs to him that anyone's going to hurt him.
No.
Or that they have a big argument at lunch. I liked this. The granddad just keeps saying, out of control. Out of control. Just out of control. And eventually the dad is like, would you stop fucking saying that they're out of control? They're not. I like the dad to granddad relationship. So that everyone learns a lesson. Mm-hmm. Everyone has a little arc and learns a lesson. By the end, the little brother's offering to help on the farm.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good movie.
Why is it? I'm so disconcerted by the fact that it's good.
That's great. That's so cool.
And Crawl realizes that he's the problem, and this made me laugh as well. And he's like, I wrecked your whole harmonious vibe, so I'm just going to go. So he walks in, so, you know, taking the ball.
5 meters.
And then, like, slowly turns around, just keeps waiting for someone to tell him not to go. And then, oh, my stuff's over here. Walks to the other side of the room. No, nothing. Comedy, man. Good.
Rebecca's like, well, I'm leaving too. And then they're like, nah, stay.
Then the dad asks him to stay. And then, the little brother goes to help him on the farm. The dad's like, oh, my tiny shitty son maybe isn't that bad. He gets better at farming. He's like skating down the hill.
Second day, he's good at farming.
He's figured it all out. He rides the pig, except he fucks up with the combine harvester.
He gets in the combine harvester and just starts it.
Just destroys.
And he's just chilling there vibing to John Denver, as you fucking do. And then just writes his name in a fucking field of corn.
Look, no one's perfect. Who amongst us?
He writes it in cursive. The neatest cursive.
It's so hard to do.
And it, like, when they zoom out for the aerial photo of it, the combine harvester is at the top of the C. So he wrote it backwards.
You could give me weeks in a cornfield. I would not be writing my name in cursive. It would look like shit.
Yeah, it would.
The thing is, though, no one there would know that it says that because they can't see it.
Neither would he. He's never driven this thing before.
I think he is just he's in such a flow state. He's just vibing so hard.
Well, he has a psychic connection with a bird somewhere. So
yeah, well, I think Crawl, because he's such a beautiful person, is just in such an enlightened state that everything he does turns into art. You know, even when he destroys something like a cornfield, it's probably a really big deal.
And like he doesn't destroy the harvester, and that's what the dad's scared about. Oh, that's a $250,000 machine, but it's fine.
He's well, don't leave the keys in it.
Fucked up a bit of corn.
Then there's a very strange scene where he walks in on Becca's mum in the shower.
Oh yeah, they're getting ready to go out.
They're going to big barn dance time.
He sees a woman from behind wearing a towel, and then he's like, "Oh, this is definitely Rebecca. This is going to be funny." Oh, yeah. And he goes into prank her, but it's Rebecca's mum. And she's
Connie.
Like, "Get out!" And he's like, "Mate, you're sexy.
Yeah,
let me help you. I am your ambiguously sexless friend."
See, his ambiguous sexlessness is so strange because now it's like a lot of the time he's doing a sort of queer eye thing.
Yeah. He's just,
of beautifying just the people around him. And it's this very strange combination of, no, this is a man who enjoys having sex with women. And he is in the bathroom with you in a towel. And he is telling you how hot you are. And you are, as far as you're aware, he is engaged to your daughter. But
it doesn't come across.
Somehow managed to get past all of that. To accept him doing like a makeover on her and dressing her in some weasel wear, I guess is what is happening.
And her, like, as everyone's leaving, she's like, "We'll be 5 minutes behind you."
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, obviously.
That's perfectly fine.
Obviously those two are going to come together. That's normal."
Yeah.
On our second car. He says to her, "Look, you've got a decent base. You've got a lot to work with." Just like subtly negging, but then they've set up that the mum and the dad have a sort of bit of a dead relationship.
Yeah.
And she's been kind of ignored this whole time. And so Crawl gives her this attention and she really enjoys it and responds to it. And everyone's just having a lovely time. They go to the barn dance and they're all going crazy.
The dad's like, "Oh my God, my wife's still hot."
Yeah, who would have thought it?
Definitely about this.
Yeah.
Like, fully on board.
I'd given up on her completely. I mean, we all knew she had a good base, but she wasn't working with it.
We started out well, but obviously we both let ourselves go, and we're fine with that. Yeah. We now sleep in separate single beds.
To be honest, a bit of a shadow's been cast over this relationship ever since we had this terrible son. But now, maybe there's hope.
When sex results in a terrible son, you stop.
Yeah. Because it'd be hard to get past, you know. When you had sex one time and it led to such a terrible consequence, it's hard to get the magic back, isn't it? Travis apologizes and says he wants to throw him a bachelor's party.
Yeah.
Crawl, I like him, I realized, in the same way I like Peacemaker.
Okay.
Because Peacemaker is just so vulnerable the whole time. And he's a bit of a wild character, and you can't agree with everything he's doing, but he's just so upfront about how he's feeling all the time.
Yeah.
And like Travis says he wants to throw him a bachelor party, and Cole says, I'd really like that a lot. Yeah, thank you. Gives him a hug. And it does turn out that it is all a plot. But when Travis was saying apologizing and saying he wants to throw him a bachelor party, I was like, oh, he's gonna murder him, right?
Yes. Immediately, the audience and us think, okay, cool. So he's gonna play a prank on him of some sort.
Well, I don't know. Just something about it made me feel like, oh, he's gonna throw him onto the train tracks. Like, he just had the fact that he's been able to put on this sociopath smile and pretend to like him now. I'm like, oh, you and the other guys are gonna beat him to death with hammers.
Yeah, but
and
you can
put him in a swamp.
I love the niceness of Crawl just accepting, like, oh, okay, yeah, you did something aggressive, and that's not cool, man. But thank you for apologizing. I'd love to hang out with you. That's cool. I'm a cool guy. You're a cool guy. Let's be cool guys together.
Yeah, of course he's thinking, of course you look past the fact that I started dating and proposed to and got engaged to your girlfriend and then didn't tell you about it at first. That is bad. Cool riffs on the mic, the town loses its mind. No one's seen anything like this before. He's doing what I can only describe as like weasel-style scatting and freestyling.
But it's with the country 2/4 beat that they're all line dancing to, and he just puts his own twist on that shit. And they're like, fuck
Loves
yeah.
it.
And they go from line dancing to conga. That's how it evolves.
Natural progression. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a Pokemon.
Yeah, he makes an old man crowd surf. Doesn't work. Old man's fine though. You're like, yeah.
And then, what about this? Cole and Becca almost kiss afterwards. I didn't want that. I didn't want there to be any vibe between them at all.
I would have been fine if it didn't happen, but it didn't break it for me. Like, I'm like, if it needs to be, this is the love relationship, that's okay. But I would have been fine if it was just like, yeah, these guys are platonic friends. That's still cool.
I think I bought them so much as good friends, and I don't buy them as a couple at all.
No, I don't think. No? I don't think he gets to be a couple.
I can imagine him being into it. I can't imagine her thinking about it even for a second, and so it just sort of broke me out of it a little bit. And he's saying he's developing feelings for her, and I could believe that, but I needed her to turn around at some point and be like, look, mate, obviously no.
I'm a valedictorian.
You're a weasel.
I look banging right now. Thank you for that. Yeah. But I'm still a valedictorian. So, I'm still studying some vague thing.
I'm studying vague things, and whilst I do have a butterfly tattoo right now, I'm still looking for valedictorian level.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a high value male.
Well, he's very good at hacking, so he's obviously computer literate, and that's a huge thing in the 90s.
Yeah, but that wasn't cool then.
Not yet.
No,
but I think she can look past it.
I'm not sure if it's cool now, but it can get you money now.
Yes, it can.
You heard Mark Zuckerberg might fight Elon Musk?
I saw that somewhere. What the fuck?
Man, if there was ever a let them fight moment.
That'd be fun as fuck.
I really want them to both be wearing shirts.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to see that.
No, I want them to be wearing those like padded outfits that you wear for sparring. I want them to wear those.
I want them both in those fake sumo wrestler costumes.
Because like one punch, it would hurt both of them more than they would know.
Well, apparently they're both quite accomplished martial artists by their own
That's quite adorable. That's lovely. Doesn't strike you as something that they would do.
No.
They're both massive nerds.
I think they're just both enjoying talking about it. I can see Mark Zuckerberg doing a martial art. Because I
could see him doing Tai Chi.
There's that one photo of Elon Musk with his shirt off. Have you seen it?
No, does he look like a candle that's been used a little bit?
Yeah, it looks like a candle in the shape of Elon Musk. That's halfway through its life cycle. Not good.
He'd be paler than I am.
Yeah, I don't feel like he spends a lot of time tanning. You know, he's got a lot on.
Sure.
Lots of tweets to send.
Apparently.
But I don't know.
I'm there for it. If it's pay-per-view, we're going to a pub somewhere.
Just it feels like another revolution in our cultural doom loop. You know what I mean?
The Doom Loop.
They're all
Starring
coming
Pauly
home.
Shore. This summer, Pauly Shore is taking the Doom Loop.
Yeah, and it's a train.
I almost Googled the word Doom Loop just then.
What are you Googling?
I was going to look up the fight and when it's on.
Oh, they're gonna tease us. It's not happening anytime soon. Damn it! We're all getting home. Granddad's on the porch. Quill gets up on the porch. Granddad sees him and goes, "Oh shit!"
But when he sat down to whittle and he gets the big ass log, I really wanted to see the outcome of the whittling.
Yeah, I don't think we see it.
We don't.
And another great Crawl line. He just looks at him and he says, "Can I please whittle wood with you?" Just wins people over instantly with these lines. I majored in creative woods. That's good as well. Dad takes him fishing. He just throws the rod in by accident. Great stuff. Connects with the dad about his dad.
Mm-hmm. And connects with the dad about his relationship with his own son.
Yep.
He's just helping everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like Elf.
He's exactly like Elf.
Just helping people know themselves. The dad collapses and he goes to do CPR and it's like, rah, 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 rah. He's doing okay. He's running. He's doing okay steps with the CPR, I guess. I mean, it's pretty slow.
Well, he didn't get to start though. He was going to start with a breath.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but
yeah, I know. Only with you start with breath in children.
And apparently old men.
And this is all old men, absolutely. And and this is all fine. The pressure is building. Crawl wants to tell them the truth because I like your family too much, so he doesn't like lying to people.
Because he's a good dude.
He's a good guy, and he's developing such deep bonds with everyone, and he realizes that this is a bad thing because it's all a lie. So then he heads off to his bachelor party. They spike his drinks with like a lot of pills as well.
Oh yeah, they pour half a fucking bottle
They
of that
are
shit
just,
in.
I don't know what it is, but it's a lethal dose what they're putting in this beer.
No, well, he's done everything.
And then Tracy comes in. And I'm not sure what Tracy thinks she's doing at this point.
Well, I think Tracy has been hired to be the stripper at this bachelor party.
Yeah, but that's weird because she's just all their friend.
Yeah, well, she's at least banging one of the dudes there.
And she's not in stripper clothing.
No, she's in regular clothes and then she starts taking that off.
A stripper just in normal like streetwear and then taking it off. Didn't like that. That's something like this is like something's off.
It was also weird that there were like 30 dudes.
It was a very scary
it was just
situation.
at the same place they were line dancing the night before.
30
one chick comes in,
Midwestern dudes.
Who all would definitely know this person who's now just out of high school.
Yes, another good point. Another
just
great
out of high
point.
school, and she's coming here.
Yeah, so didn't like any of that. But again, none of this is Crawl's fault.
No, they drug Crawl.
This is Travis, who is a true monster. It turns out.
Oh,
what he does
he's horrific.
because he's wearing that monster jacket.
He is at this point as well.
And because then they drug Tracy as well.
And then
they put them in the barn.
They plant them in the barn together
so that Becca finds them. Mm-hmm. And Travis just
turns up at the
gaslights
farm.
Tracy into thinking that she did sleep with Crawl, and you suck for doing that.
Yeah, you're so low.
Yeah. Ooh.
What a fucking tosser.
Exactly the kind of person you want to get hit in the balls. And yeah, he's going to hitchhike home, but then Tracy picks him up because she's figured it out. She doesn't take this lying down.
So
no pun intended.
They find them in the barn, and then she says engagement's over, and Paulie's like, "Well, I'll just leave. It's fine." And everyone's really angry at him just before Thanksgiving lunch is about to be served. What?
Oh yeah.
And then
terrible time.
So he starts hitchhiking. Tracy finds the pills in her car as she's driving home. She's like, "Wait."
Yep.
Nah, turns around, comes back to right these wrongs.
And then it's Thanksgiving lunch. This made me laugh as well. Travis gets up to propose again.
He's immediately ready.
Welcome back, everyone. I know you've been following the newsletter. I as you know,
We've been through a lot in the last couple of days.
We've been through a lot. As I predicted, strangely, Crawl and Tracy have indeed hooked up. And so now is my, nothing helps you get over a breakup like being cheated on than being instantly engaged to someone that you've expressed distaste for previously and is wearing a bully jacket. So on that note, Tracy, and as he kneels down, Crawl, just don't even think about it. And Travis just gets up and goes, oh, man. Just keeps trying to propose. And Pauly Shore keeps walking
He's so
in.
quick about it as well. It's like, well, now it's my time.
And another, this is the third time Pauly Shore has fucked up my proposal. Tracy, she found the pill bottle and also the seat was moved back, implying someone big drove her car. And Theo just completely confesses the farm hand. It's like, everyone would realize it was such a big deal. I'm like, it's a massive deal.
Yeah,
people can die from what you did.
You drugged two
you're
people.
Lucky you're not. It's not a double homicide. You oaf.
Well, previously drug-riddled Crawl, who's done a lot of stuff, he could take it. But no one knows what drug. Tracy's just out of high school.
She's just out of high school. And she wasn't even valedictorian.
No.
So she doesn't have that valedictorian constitution.
Exactly.
And it seems very vulnerable. So she does very well to drag her reputation out of this situation.
He owns up straight away. And
Travis starts having a go or something. And the granddad says, really tweaks my melon to see him get greased on by a scumbag like you. Everyone's getting the weasel talk. The Pauly talk.
Pauly beats the shit out of him.
Just beats the shit out of him.
Just showing that he can.
Because he did karate for 2 semesters or something.
He majored in karate.
The scene keeps going, and they all just keep talking, presumably with just Travis on the floor.
They fire Theo.
He's going to need a lot of food stamps.
Oh, no, Theo carries Travis out.
Got him.
He's like, yep.
Yeah. And
He's going to need a lot of food stamps. Because he, for the whole thing, is making jokes about weight loss to fucking Theo.
And then I didn't really get this. They really sort of leave it ambiguous at the end where they're like, we're going to delay the wedding. So he doesn't ruin Thanksgiving, I guess, by saying, well, by the way, this is all about... I guess he's letting her have the get out of jail free of, we'll go back to LA and then say we broke up.
Yeah.
Rather than say this was all a lie.
I do like that the father then goes, we'll just settle down with some grindage.
Let's munch on some grindage, guys.
some grindage.
Family photo. Crazy little thing called Love plays as the credits come up over the Frozen picture.
Not a bad time.
Not a bad time.
Not a bad time at all. Surprising. It's not a Brendan Fraser movie.
This is not a Brendan Fraser movie.
Love that this is going to be on the list of Brendan Fraser movies.
Well, yeah.
I think...
But is that on us or is it on Brendan? Because he should have anticipated that one day people will do filmography ranking podcasts.
Well, I don't think he knew that podcasts would exist.
You've got to factor that in to your cameo choices because it gets on the list. So, in terms of the Brendan Fraser filmography rank, but everyone, just as you know...
For those who don't know, we don't score films out of 1 to 10 or out of 100 a lot of websites seem to do.
1 to 1,000.
Stupid people would do that. What we do instead is much more meaningful.
Yep.
And
I would say that.
Definitely
deep.
Rich. It's got a lot of emotional weight to it, our ranking system.
Yeah.
We just score the movies and put them in a list of what's the best and what's the worst in our personal opinion.
Yeah. I think this way of doing it builds a lot more tension. There's a lot more at stake.
There is a lot more at stake.
It's not just,
it would be weird.
Is it an 8 out of 10? It's, is this the best one? So there's 7 on the list.
This is definitely not down the bottom.
It's not at the bottom. I'm going to start at the bottom and we'll work our way up. So at the bottom of our most preferred Brendan Fraser movies, bottom of the barrel, Younger and Younger. Fuck off. Didn't like it.
No, we didn't.
Above that, Dogfight. Brackets
also
more like dog
didn't
shit.
like it.
Not a good film. You're all wrong. The whole world is wrong and we are right.
I still wish it was the bottom, but Younger and Younger was just so bad.
Yeah. Younger and Younger made greater transgressions, both aesthetic and moral. Child of Darkness, Child of Light.
Yeah.
This is better than that.
This is better than that.
This is better than $20, number 4.
I think it is better than
I
$20.
think it is. Yep, it's
as
definitely...
good as that short film and $20 was.
Yeah.
This is better than $20.
Is this better than Encino Man?
Yes.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
getting
better than
real
Encino
weird
Man.
now because that's a Brendan Fraser movie.
Yeah.
Is this better than School Ties?
I don't think so.
No.
Because that is a proper Brendan Fraser movie.
Yeah.
And it's also good. Like, it's good.
Yeah, Presumed Guilty and School Ties, his two big serious, big boy serious films. I think
but this
still
is better
deserve to
than
be at the
Encino
top.
Man.
But this, yeah. Look, this isn't going to stay third on the list for a long time, guys. Don't
We're
panic.
about to watch something that will probably surpass all of them.
Brendan
and that's
Fraser's
fine.
third best movie is not Son-in-Law. But
Pauly
chronologically,
Shore's possible best movie.
we unfortunately like this more than a bunch of Brendan's other movies. Because, I don't know, we click with the grindage.
We do. We munch on some grindage.
Now, slightly more complex question. We also obviously rank which of all the Brendans would win in a fight. And this is an unusual situation because this is a character who we've ranked before, and he's previously number 2. The current ranking of who would win in a fight is Younger and Younger, Child of Darkness, $20, Dogfight, more like dog shit, Presumed Guilty, Encino Man, School Ties.
I want to say, I don't think cameo Brendans get to fight.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I think
I think cameo Brendans should be forced to sit on the sidelines and watch.
no, but look, this is interesting because this is character from Encino Man. 5 years later,
Is he?
Has
he's uncredited though.
has he gained in strength or lost in strength during that time?
Well, clearly lost because he's still as stupid as he was. But now 5 years have passed and he's out of college.
well,
But
that
is
just
it the same character? Because he's not credited at all. He's just dressed the same.
So is it well?
So the paperwork doesn't
it
state.
it is just often described that way, as he had cameos as Link in this and in the army now.
So enough paperwork states that it is Link. And is he Link?
Well, it's not on a form or anything.
Is he Link in the army now?
Yes.
Why?
Well, that's his character in the Pauly Shore-iverse.
I guess. Well, I think then it has to be on par or just below Neanderthal from Encino Man in whatever our list is, if this is here.
But Neanderthal in Encino Man has only recently woken up from ice coffin. He's now had 5 years of wholesome American food and probably going to the gym.
To weaken him. Wholesome American sugar-loaded food to weaken his immune system, to weaken his body.
Maybe. What if he's gone
woken up
paleo?
from the ice and he is in prime physical Neanderthal condition in Encino Man.
I think
he could rip a limb off of a human.
I think he'd need some tuning up.
And
I
that
think
would have
he's
made
only
Encino Man a better film. If
he could have gotten into bodybuilding in the interval.
He could have.
Time.
Clearly, he did not.
We only see him top of shoulders up. You don't know what he's rocking under that sweet outfit.
Maybe he's lost a leg. Maybe he got scurvy and lost limbs.
Well, yeah, maybe this, maybe that, but is that likely?
Probably.
I say he could have been having some athletic greens, and because he can't talk, so maybe going to the gym has been the way in which he has found community.
But he
this
should be able to
non-verbal
speak by this
activity.
point.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like he can. But even if he couldn't to begin with, in the time it took him to learn, maybe he would have only been able to learn through a shared physical activity.
Well, can we assume
what if he's doing
also
CrossFit?
That if he is at this college, in the 5-year interim, he has learned to speak and has developed an interest in an area of study and is therefore at college to study. The 5 seconds we see of him in this film, he's off his face.
He's
on
know
something. Well, we can assume that's why he doesn't speak. That's why he's in the middle of a party. He's taken something.
Well, no, he's
and
just
he's having a party.
I think that's just him being a caveman. He could have been doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He could be a black belt in a martial art at this point. In which case, he's beaten the shit out of original Encino Man Link.
I still think original Encino Man Link would kick his ass because he's fresh from the cave times.
Yeah, but
he's just been killing
he's
saber-toothed tigers.
Yeah,
in the Sierra Nevada,
and and that's giving him a great base. He's got a great base. He's got a lot to work with, as Crawl might say.
This link has been separated from his underground glacier for way too long.
If you fucking bring them up one more time. It's not about the underground glacier, Isaac. The underground glacier did not impart anything to him. Okay? It's not like he's hopped up on minerals when he gets out of it. I think this guy beats Encino Man.
Okay, I'll give you that.
He's going to do an arm bar or something. I know a lot about martial arts.
Yep, definitely.
He's going to do a reverse Hickman's chokehold.
Well, who's at the top of our list at the moment?
School Ties, because he wins naked shower fights.
He does win naked shower fights.
So
he definitely beats this guy.
You think naked shower fight?
I think naked shower fight guy beats a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think Son-in-Law goes above. Because I think he's been working.
Okay. I still don't think it needs to be in the list.
I think he's been out there working. He's been out there flipping tractor tires and just using a tree as a punching bag. Because it's all he knows how to do.
He has like the calluses on the bottom of feet, but on the outside of his knuckles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really gross.
Yeah.
Because I think also he'd know that his main access to income is through notoriety and media appearances. And if he starts to fatten out, that money goes bye-bye. Sean Astin is going to have him on a regime.
You would hope so.
So, yeah.
Yes, because he's a pet.
Yes, because he considers him very much like
a belonging of some kind.
Sort of like Hugh Jackman in a circus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that one. That's Son-in-Law.
It was better
Summary,
than it had a right to be.
Weirdly good. Weirdly good and very unique. And more on this Pauly Shore story as it develops. I will obtain more details as I gaze deeper into the mysterious abyss that is any other person's soul if you look far enough. If you've been enjoying the show, we're on Twitter at ExceptionalPod, Instagram Exceptional Thieves, email exceptionalthieves@gmail.com. You can search S. Brookfield on TikTok as well for some other sick clips. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. With, I don't even know what it is.
Are you with honours?
Hopefully neither of us are sick then.
It's With Honours.
It is. What's that?
It's a movie where he goes to college. But it's got Joe Pesci in it, and that's fun.
Oh yeah, you've been going on about that this whole time.
Because I've never seen it.
You're a big Joe Pesci guy, huh?
Who isn't? He's tiny.
Yeah, but, I looked for a bit more than that.
He's good at yelling.
He is good at that. Also
Macaulay
starring
Culkin's murdered him several times.
Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
Gore Vidal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now colour me intrigued.
Ooh.
Whatever colour that is. Taupe.
Puce.
Okay, yeah, that's good. You know how nauseous you are whenever you're intrigued by something?
The lilac. The lilac of intrigue.
Yeah.
I am lilac with intrigue right now.
Coming soon with Pauly Shore. Okay, join us next time for more exceptional theft of your time.